Good evening, everybody. All right. Hope everybody's having a good, what is this? We're a few days away from spring, aren't we? Okay, I guess we're all set to go. Jim's got the recording set up. Oh, somebody might tell TD it's only him unless everybody else is not getting sound. Okay. But today when we woke up, obviously the news, I guess, if we put this all together, that they're going to put I forget which country it was going to tax everybody that had money in the bank, which meant there might be a run on that bank. Cyprus, that's it. Or on those banks. So the initial reaction, obviously, everybody's panic selling. But if you start thinking about it, if you've got your money in banks around the world and the markets around the world, when everything starts falling to pieces, the U.S. is still a safe haven. So if they're going to do this issue about taxing money in the banks, that could destroy the banking business in a country very quickly. So, anyways, what created the illusion or the speculation that this was going to be a knee-jerk reaction was they took it down hard and then they started bringing it back up. The same type of thing happened over here in the S&P where they opened it lower, brought it back up, and the NASDAQ. So because we've got the graphics of going on, even though the NASDAQ was down 11.5 today, we could tell there was still buying going on from the open. They were buying and bringing it back up. Jim, I'm sure that if our government hasn't figured out stuff to tax, they'll find things to tax. But did not want to get into that conversation. So anyways, it wasn't like they were bailing out of this market. After it opened, it looked like the buyers were still there. Interest rates just kind of waffling. Let's see if I can get this to... I mean, that's the last 3 months has pretty much sideways. Oops, hold on for 1 second. Okay. So interest rates kind of leveling out or staying stable. Crude oil still seems to be bouncing here ever since the Doji gap up. I would suspect somehow we've got everything doubled up in here. What is happening? There. I don't know what that all was about. But I would suspect crude oil is probably with the amount of juice left in the stochastics that maybe they could get back up to the 50 and have to see what was going on. Let's see, what else am I looking at here? Gold. Gold moving up, but not in a very decisive manner. And silver just not wanting to go anywhere. Still sideways. Well, let's see. The U.S. dollar. What is that? Okay, GAHN. U.S. dollar's had a good run here recently. So it's well far away from the prospect of the dollar just crashing. And the grains, still think we've got a kind of a pennant formation sideways move here with soybeans, and had gotten out of cotton just in time because they took a big reversal today. That might mean there's going to be some pullback in cotton. Oh, let's see. Some of the other ones. The British pound. Trying to do a little bounce in here. Nothing that I would consider to be a great reversal just yet. Whoops. Well, shows butts. What's happening here? There it is. Japanese yen. Might be looking for a bottom in here. Just now closed back up above the T line, trying to get this big enough where we can see it. Let's see, I think I can do JYAM. Yeah, but we're still in this downtrending channel, and it's not doing anything real forceful. Okay, let's see, what else? Gold, dollar. The cattle area. Feeder cattle still in a downtrend ever since it did this little bearish J hook here at the T line. Live cattle. Also down, but supported today. But as you can see, today it didn't do anything that would tell us there was a reversal, just a little bounce after a big down move on Friday. Okay. Trying to think of if there's anything else in the commodity area. Can't think of it. So, anyways, we've still got stocks that are acting well. I know quite a few people are still sitting in CZR. CZR, nice rounding bottom. Got a little bit of booster move with a belt hold signal. I think it was a Cartech or Quarry. Did I give you the wrong advice? That when they broke it out here, it was still moved up another 10% after that. But this one I would just continue to hold until you see a sell signal. Now, with today's pullback day, we saw a lot of stocks that we'd been long pull back a little bit, but not really do anything that would tell us there's any powerful selling going on. And this is, again, the advantage of a candlestick signal versus just a price move. Notice today's pullback, relatively indecisive, which helps us. If they open this positive, you want to be buying immediately. TTI was another one. Oops. Just TTI. Well, Shazam. S.TTI. There we go. Pulled back, but closed right where it opened. Told us that they weren't really selling us off hard. This one, if it opens positive, you want to be a buyer. Let's see, P10. Nothing to tell us that they changed direction. However, did a Harami Doji. Makes it very simple. If they open lower tomorrow, you want to probably take some profits. If they open it higher, they're going to take it up further. Let's see. RAX was one that was up scary today, but closed down here at the lower end of the trading range. The only reason I held on, I had the calls. The only reason I held on to the calls is because they moved it up so fast on the open, and then they held it up there, not moving anywhere for hours. And then near the end of the day, they started slowly bringing it back down, which means we're back down below the T line. which just gives us one conclusion. As long as they can't close it above the T-line, you're still in a downtrend. Now, what we would be looking for tomorrow is for this to have a little bit weaker open, something that doesn't show a whole lot of strength. If they come back and open positive tomorrow, you've got an inverted hammer in the oversold area. That usually gets the bears scared out if they open it right back up into the profit-taking area of today, which is this big upper candle. Yes, another one we have is INFA, which also pulled back. Now, that's an unusual chart. Let's see. Yeah, INFA has a little bit different chart over here on TCNet. So either way, it closed back up above the T-line. If it opens positive, everything will be honky-dory. A few more that open lower. Now this one looks a little bit. This one also on the other charts looks more like a Doji and Enoch came back indecisively. So if these, it'll be important to see how they open this market tomorrow on the pre-market futures. If they open up positive, a lot of these stocks that are already in the progress of making a pattern like this fry pan bottom, if it opens positive tomorrow after a kind of a double doji, it means they're going to probably take it back up and still be on a good trajectory for a fry pan bottom breakout. All right, let me see what else we got here. Oh, we recommended SWFT. Based upon if it was open positive, it would have that double doji type day. Over on TCNet, this was more of a doji on Friday. But the fact that they started bringing it positive after opening it right on the T-line told you the same thing, that the bulls are still in this one. Got kind of this little fry pan bottom, cup and handle setup. This one I still would not be afraid to be buying aggressively on a positive open tomorrow. ACM was one that... Pshaw. ACM still in this trajectory of a fry pan bottom breakout. Continue to hold this one. If they break through this top here, that means there's going to be a lot of good running room. And UIS, we recommended that a few days ago. It just hasn't gotten started yet, but it's trying. If this one gets moving, especially starts trading positive tomorrow, you definitely want to be a buyer. That tells you that fry pan bottom is going to start breaking out. Yeah, I'll get to everybody's individual stocks. Just wait until I tell Jim to do the double line. All right. I'll bring up this one because I know there's tons of people that will ask about it before the end of the night. Apple has broken through this downtrending channel with a doji gap up, which is your best friend. First likely target, we estimated, would be up here to the 50-day moving average. So despite the market being soggy today, Apple had a fairly good positive move because, not because, but with the anticipation that this little doji gap up, your best friend, is going to create a strong uptrend. Is a fry pan bottom just a rounding bottom? Yes. Now, we've got different definitions, but they're all basically the same. A fry pan bottom is usually a big, long, slow, rounding bottom, where the slow curve is more, I'll show you a slow curve, but it's usually a faster rounding bottom and usually is hugging the T-line. All right, let's see, SIG, S.CIG is what I meant to say. So this has got that little rounding bottom and held up well. So if this one opens positive, first pop is probably going to be up here at the 200-day moving average. So a positive open on this would be a good good day trade even. Here's a J-hook pattern setting up again. This is on BLC. If this one opened positive, you know you have a good amount of running room because if they break it out through here, this is wave 1, wave 3 should be equivalent. What about the gap down? Gene, you're going to have to be more specific. On Apple, what about the gap down? I don't see which gap down. Are you referring to this gap down over here? Oh, will that be resistance? Well, yeah, that kind of equates. I don't know whether it will be any considered resistance. I would still think the 50 is going to be what your resistance is going to be. Then if it breaks through there, well, then your next target is this little resistance area. So that, again, that is less important to me than what are we seeing right now? We're seeing stochastics coming up. We saw your best friend set up. We're broke out above the T line. And more importantly, we broke down or up through this downtrending channel. That means, yeah, we should be heading in a positive direction, at least up to the T line. I'm sorry, up to the 50. VRX looks like it's doing kind of a little J-hook pattern. And notice the booster on this little bullish engulfing signal right here on the T line. Anytime you see an indecisive trading on the T line, get ready to start watching for a buy signal, because that tells you they've gotten to a point where they don't know what to do, so you start to see which signal they're showing you to tell you which direction they're planning on going. And TIBX also bounced back up off the T line back positive, keeping this 45 degrees still alive after this kicker signal down here. Remember, anytime they gap it up, number one, that's a strong reversal. Number two, if it's a kicker signal, it means not only is it going to be a strong reversal, but it's going to be heading up for quite a while. Let's see, TA. This one I'm kicking myself because this was a perfect setup. Notice we had kind of a doji sandwich setup that if they opened up positive, you wanted to be buying immediately because of the doji sandwich, number one. Number two, if they started trading positive, they were breaking out through this downward trend channel off a little cup and handle. Do we expect a big move like this every time? Definitely not. I mean, we'd have been happy with that over a 4, 5, 6 day trading period. But the probabilities of being in the right trade at the right time and catching one of these moves is greatly enhanced by just hitting the trades that we know have expected results. Very simple. What do we expect after a doji? We expect it to move in the direction of how they open it. So they opened this one slightly positive and took it positive, which told us which direction they were taking it, number one. Number two, it told us we had a possibility of a doji sandwich. And number three, if they were trading it positive, they were breaking out through that level. So the more information you can put into your analysis, the higher the probability that you're going to be in the right trade at the right time. So here's that same situation. Ego gapped up, did a doji. We're sitting right here on kind of a breakout area. If they open this positive, you want to be buying immediately, because that tells you you're probably going to have a same magnitude price move as this, which also means you'd be breaking out through this downward trend channel. That would probably tell you that you're eventually going to move right up here to the 200-day moving average. RAS, the only reason I'm showing this is because the chart looks so good. It's a REIT, and all the REITs seem to be doing extremely well. I say that. I'm hoping they're doing extremely well. This is Nally. Now, here's the difference between a fry pan bottom, what I call a slow curve. Notice how it's hugging the T line until we get up here, until everything starts breaking out. Now things start getting bigger and more wild coming out of that slow curve situation. That's just a high probability trade. TPX. Whoops. S dot. Type it right. TPX. Bullish engulfing signal right on the T line tells me this uptrend is still in progress. You can still even be buying this one on positive trading. I think this is NQ. No, apparently not. S dot NQ. Inverted hammer bullish combination or confirmation. Notice where it closed, right on the T line. Makes this very simple. If this opens positive tomorrow, you can start buying. Where's your stop? You don't want to see it close back below the T line. So if it came back down and closed lower, you're right back out of the trade. EHTH. Another one, bouncing off. Anytime you see something, or the T-line catching up with the price trend moving sideways, letting the T-line catch up. As soon as they come together, you're more than likely going to see another pop to the upside. And SKUL, I saw people mentioning this in the chat room today. It is gapped up after hours up above this T-line. So if they open this positive, start watching to see if they're going to trade it positive. If so, you're going to be caught, or you say caught, you're going to be situated in probably a cup or a scoop pattern, that if they break this up above the T-line, that this little scoop generation is going to give you a slingshot effect if they break up through the 50-day moving average. Oh, new president? Okay. All right, now some that we've been watching, DDD. This is kind of just a graphic depiction of common sense. If you're an institution ready to buy this stock and you see it heading down, where are you waiting to see if it's going to support? Obviously, the next major moving average. Today we had kind of a little piercing signal. Makes this an excellent buy on a positive open. First criteria is it needs to get through the T-line. If it doesn't, or if it does, if it opens positive, you can be buying. Just be conscious of what it does once it gets to the 50-day moving average. And then see if they can break it through this downtrending channel. Then I think you've probably got what is the normal high price move trade, wave 1, wave 2, starting wave 3. So just for kicks, if we threw a Fibonacci number on here, starting from the low point to the high point, doesn't tell us anything. Oh well. Okay, what else we got here? RDN, DDD, as you can see, is right here bouncing up off the 200 with stochastics in the oversold area. RTN also bouncing up off the T-line. So you've got your wave 1, wave 2, starting wave 3 again. Starting wave 3, if this opens positive, we know that the uptrend is still in progress. And if this is wave 1, wave 3 could be fairly substantial. MKTG, we closed this out the other day because once it hit the 200-day moving average, it did a bearish harami, which told us the buying has stopped. What was the likely move? It was probably going to see if it's going to bounce off the T-line and hover in here. If it breaks out to the upside, it tells us the 200 is not acting as resistance anymore. The T-line is acting as a T-line cruncher. If it breaks up through the 200, pretty much tells us they're planning to go much higher with this one. And notice how this one started. The kicker signal. That's your strongest signal. Q-Core, I still think there is something building up in this stock, which was a stupid thing to say because nobody should give a hoot what I think is going on. But we're coming out of the classic. Fry pan bottom, breakout, right up to the 200, pulls back, and now we're starting back up again. If they break through the 200, then we got the possible move like this, another 6 points, probably with a good fast move pop, which makes an option trade very interesting. That was Q-Core. All right. IRDM. That's a little rounding bottom breakout. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one. And we've got STZ, which also has this little rounding bottom breakout. So if they're breaking out through this little rounding bottom, if this is wave 1, this is wave 2, wave 3 is going to be equivalent to wave 1. That is approximately 12 points. 12 points from here puts you up in the $55, $56 range. And XTEX. Another little rounding bottom. Notice what these are? Just a bunch of dojis, indecisive trading, now a big bullish engulfing signal. Essentially, it's told you they've made their decision. So if this opens positive tomorrow, it's basically confirming this little left-right bullish combination. Number 2, it's confirming a bullish engulfing signal. Number 3, if they start trading it positive, they're breaking this downward trend channel. That tells you there's a lot more upside to this one, because this would be starting wave 3, equivalent to this wave right here. And Ross Stores. I think that's Ross Stores. No, goofed up. Post. This is another REIT. That's the Post Apartment Group in Atlanta. Again, there's this rounding bottom. It's not what I would consider a fry pan bottom, but it's got the same curvature as a fry pan bottom, and it acts a lot quicker. That to me is what we call a slow curve, which means very quickly the investor sentiment is kind of canceling out, getting positive, and now whipping to the upside. And that's where you want to be buying, is when everybody starts exuberant buying. So that's the kind of a rounding bottom. This is more of a fry pan. When you can see there's a long trajectory, and you could also notice there's no place in here that you'd want to trade this, because it would just whipsaw you to death. So once you realize, and again, that is just based upon the curvature on the downtrend, that if you could see this very slow indecisive, start looking for the slow indecisive coming out the other side. So if these are the type of things where if you're going to do an option trade, you see this start breaking up through the highs of the last couple of days, the doji closed up here, a positive open would start breaking it out. Makes for a very good option trade, because a lot of people say, well, the delta is not going to be very good on this. Obviously not. If you see a big slow rounding bottom that's not going anyplace, the delta, the gamma, everything is going to be flat on it. Well, we're not interested in this past information. We know that the future information coming out of a fry pan bottom could have the trajectory which is extremely strong and fairly sustained by basically wave 1, wave 2, starting wave 3. Oh, let's see. All right, a few. This one just eats my lunch. This one would have been a perfect one if it had opened lower today and taken it down hard. So that's just to find how to do. The market is down, and this one's popping like crazy. But as you can see, at the end of the day, they gave up everything, so there isn't a whole lot of strength in this one yet. Again, if they open this one lower tomorrow, you probably want to be shorting it. And TDC is another one that I'll be going after on some calls. I'm sorry, some puts. Notice the slow rounding curve, and now they're starting to gap it down. If they open this lower, notice today they couldn't hold this support level. They gapped through it. That means they could be taking this down fairly fast. That makes for a very good short trade. You'll probably see that re-recommended. Facebook, same scenario. Whoops. Well, shuzzbutts, what's happening here? Another one that's just now rolling over. Right here, smack dab at this support level, it did a doji. Stochastic still heading down. Makes it fairly simple. If they open it lower, they could be taking this much lower because it will be breaking this like 3-month support. And if it can't support it there, then they could pull the rug out from underneath this one. And AVTI, which we closed out a few days ago and made good money. Oh, pshaw. Well. This couldn't be happening to a nicer guy. Did I type it wrong? I did type it wrong. So there's your hanging man. There's your bearish confirmation. We closed out with it coming back down through the bottom of the hanging man. Now it did a doji. Makes this very simple. If they open this week or tomorrow, you want to be shorting it with the anticipation it's coming back down to the 50-day moving average, which is also corresponding with this last candle over here. We're still working on the 3 and the 34. I say still working. Everything's been put on hold because Pat has had me on a huge project, which is redoing all the 12 major signals. Because I think the last time we did them was 8 years ago. Even though the charts aren't ever going to change, people just like to see fresh charts. So we were, hopefully tomorrow night I will be done with that project. Then we're going to start working on redoing the formulas, or doing up the formulas for the rounding bottom, the slope curve, and the fry pan bottom. So I mentioned in the chat room today that if you like working on formulas and you've got something that you think works as far as a fry pan bottom or a rounding bottom, email it to me, steve@candlestickforum.com. I'll put it out on the documents area, which is way down here on the right-hand corner of right under that big gray area where you see the chart. That way everybody can go in and see what information everybody is working on, and be able to, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, start tweaking it to where we eventually come up with a very good combined formula for the patterns that we're looking for. Now I know I got sidetracked. Yes, Pat is a slave driver. I just want you all to realize what I have to go through every day. Work. What are they going to represent? Ami, you got me there. Metastock, we still got Jeff Gibby is working on getting all those fine-tuned, but he's running helter-skelter right now with so many things to do. So I talked with him, I think, what is today? Monday. I talked with him Friday, and he said he would get me information so we can go through the editing. If it gets done, those products should be ready to go, I would guess, within a week on Metastock. ATVI went X. Oh, okay, so that's what did it. How much did they pay out? They must have paid out about 50 cents, 30 cents, 19 cents. Oh, all right. Okay, all right. So I guess, is there any questions on candlesticks that I didn't go through? Let's see. I'm supposed to announce that I think we've only got one seat available now for the private training session in Houston. So if you're interested in finding out more details, please email me, steve@candlestickforum.com. Send your phone number, and we'll sit and talk for a few minutes to let you know what's all involved. But if you can't make it, I know there's some people out there just in despair. We will be doing another session up on Keuka Lake this summer. So there'll be fine dining, refreshing dips in the lake, and very good candlestick information. Let's see. Some candle setups don't need to see a trigger confirmation. How do you determine what needs a trigger? You'd usually like to see confirmation. I mean, it's much safer to see confirmation. Okay, went dividend today, 19 cents on ATVI. All right, thank you. Usually after the dividend, there's usually some people that will sell it off just because they know it's a long time before they get another dividend. So we'll see how they open this one tomorrow. Let's see. So Duncan, yeah, most of the signals need confirmation. Now, kicker signal doesn't. The kicker signal just got mega strength on its own. But the rest of them, do need bullish confirmation, if obviously on a bull signal. Same thing with a bearish signal. Okay. S&P, SPX, and Dow, aren't the last two candles hanging men? Yes, they are. The only confirmation that we have not gotten is what has obviously been our support this whole way up, is a close below the T-line. So that's why it will be important to see how they start trading this tomorrow. If they trade it below the T-line, they're going to pull back. But as the Japanese race traders say, let the market tell you what the market is doing. It comes up, sells off, moves up the next leg, sells off, moves up the next leg, and I'm not even sure we're done with this leg. If this leg is approximately this long, it tells me we've probably got another 4 or 5 days to the upside before they'll start doing some profit taking. When you make a decision, what role of the stochastics? The stochastics, if it's a signal, is relatively important. Obviously, you don't want to buy a candlestick bullish engulfing signal in the overbought condition, unless it's coming out of a pattern. You don't want to be doing a candlestick or buying a candlestick sell signal or shorting a sell signal if you're already in the oversold area. So a true signal is not a signal unless it's occurring in the right conditions of the market. Would this ATVI be a kicker? No. Remember, a kicker signal is, I can't remember the last kicker signal. There it is. Kicker signal is when they open it here and close it down here. The next day they gap open at or above the previous day's open and go the opposite direction. That basically tells you they have kicked investor sentiment in the opposite direction. It's usually not going to create an indecisive pattern. Usually you're going to see a good strong pattern or price move after a kicker signal. Alan, it all depends on each person's individual taste. Metastock is excellent. Ninja Trader. The ones we're looking at right here are on CQG, which is a good software program, but it's extremely, extremely expensive. I think I pay $1,037 a month for CQG, when I probably should do a little bit more investigation and realize that Metastock or I forget what, Ninja Trader, any of those, they've got good graphics on them. What you're basically concerned about as far as graphics is how fast are those graphics setting up? Are they are they what I want to say? Are they getting good current feeds? there's some software packages or some software programs where the signal may not form for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds after another one would form. Another chart pattern would already pick up that signal. So the connection time to some of the softwares is very important. But that is a question that you probably need to come into the chat room during the day and ask that same question. Warden Brothers is good mostly for scanning. I never used Charles Schwab Edge, so that's why I say come in and ask the what people recommend or suggest in the chat room, because there you're going to have actual users of one of the software programs, and they can give you their opinion whether they like it or not. Haven't I seen where you recommend going in the same direction as overextended stochastics? I'm guessing sometimes it's okay to trade in the direction of overdone stochastics. Yes, if you're coming out of a pattern, let's see. In the stochastics, as far as a kicker signal, doesn't really matter. That one's so strong, stochastics are just whisked by the okay, E-signal is and very fast data. Okay, thank you, Don. So Don is recommending E-signal, where it's a little over $100 a month, and gets excellent information. So yeah, with technology moving along as fast as it has over the last 5-10 years, there's all the chart services are pretty much catching up with each other. So there's it's like anything else. Which one do you really prefer? Okay, I guess with that, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. All right, and Jim, better do the second double line in about 10 seconds. Oh, mercy. Yeah, I should have mentioned we try to keep this to 2 to everybody. All right. Scrolled way ahead of me. Still scrolling way ahead of me. Let's see. Where have I scrolled way past where I need to be? There we go. All right. PC. Yep. S.PC. Panasonic, that looks like it's traded quite a bit overseas. This one, all you can do is stay long as you don't see it close back below the T line or have a drastic sell signal. S.RRD. This one, I would suspect, whoops, that's why things might not look correct. How many did I just do on that basis? All right. Oh, only one. Okay, right now, RRD is, you stay long until you see a sell signal. PC, Panasonic, starting back up. Again, doesn't trade, trades mostly overseas. That's why you see this choppy type of chart. But this one you can be buying on strength. MDRX. Well, shots points. MDRX. Nothing wrong here. Even though it traded lower today, notice that it traded positive after the open. SVU. This one you stay long. Notice the pullback right now is very indecisive. That tells you they aren't really aggressively selling this. GMED. GMED should have been closed out last week with it closing below the T line. Notice it did a long-legged hammer signal. Whether it did or not, it still did a bearish engulfing signal right up here, right where it closed or bottom or topped out before. It needed to open positive and trade positive. It opened lower and closed below the T line. That told us the bears were still in control. You wanted to be out of that trade. EV, this one you stay long. Again, very simply, as long as they stay above the T line, you stay long. OI, whoops, S.OI. Another one, open lower, came right back up, giving us the impression they aren't really selling off any of these stocks just yet. This one you continue to hold as long as it stays above the T line. AYU, another one that you can be buying on positive trading. Looks like it's trying to break out through this downtrending channel, which it did indecisively over the last couple of days. Like to see a good, strong signal come off of here. Honeywell did kind of a deep open and brought back up. The only problem with Honeywell is it is now showing us heating oil. That's the problem with Honeywell. That's a fine howdy do. Okay, Honeywell, much easier to read when you get the right chart up. Is you stay long as it stays above the T line here also. You do have a little left-right combo, but nothing right now is showing that there's any selling pressure coming into this one. And GME, bullish engulfing after a little hammer signal. This one you can buy on positive trading. Another one that is just right about where it should be breaking out. So if it opens positive, would kind of suggest it is breaking out through that little downtrending channel. Let's see, did we do GME? Yeah, bullish engulfing. And where did I go here? PWC. You don't want to see a bullish engulfing signal in the overbought area. However, notice what this one did. It gapped down, used the 200 as support, used the T-line as support, that's where it opened, and closed back up above the 50. So at this point, I would suspect they're coming back up to test right here, and then the probabilities are they'll come back and then they'll test to see whether the 50 is going to act as support or not. WCRX, nice rounding bottom. This one you can be buying on positive trading, hoping that it gets through the 50-day moving average in the next few days. And that was WCRX. Okay, folks. That's a nice breakout. This one you can be buying on strength. Also, kind of expect that sometimes after a big downtrend, they're going to back and fill a little bit. If it opens and comes back down to the T-line, you flip to your 5-minute chart and see if they're about ready to start taking it back up. You can get a little bit better entry down at that level. Okay, SNFCA, little wedge. At this point, I would probably put a buy stop somewhere around the 840 level. That if it came up through, that's the way they broke out of this little wedge formation. GKK, bullish engulfing right on the T-line, right at a breakout area. If this opens positive, they're going to be taking it higher. And SYNC, just now trying to get up through the T-line. You can buy this on positive trading tomorrow. Just use the T-line as your stop. ARMH, this one you want to stay short until you see a buy signal and it closes back up above the T-line. Whoops, just did that one. All right. SLCA. Came up and touched the T-line. tells me that probably you're going to have a few days of waffling, allowing the stochastics to get down closer to the oversold area before they can really break it up through that level. I'd buy if it comes up through the T line. My suspicion is they're going to waffle it here a couple more days and let the stochastics get underneath itself again. DGI, nothing here yet. This would probably be one with it moving sideways as much as it has. If it opens weaker tomorrow, I'd close out the position. Then I'd immediately put my buy stop at 30 because if it comes back up through there, it's broken through this congestion area. FTK, stay long until you see a sell signal. This one came back up nicely today. LPI needs to get through the 200, so it needs to show some strength and get up above the 200. Otherwise, you're probably going to see some profit taking with it coming back to the T line for a few days, and then it might push itself back up through. Let's see, SSYS. Just barely coming back up above the T line. This is one, though, that it's not in any great hurry. You're pretty much sideways. So if I had my druthers, I'd be trading someplace else just because there's a lot more good-looking charts out there right now. And Goog, I'm suspecting they're taking it down to the 50-day moving average. Let me see. SYNC. We did that one. All right. ILMN. No. Well, I say no. I would suspect with it doing a doji, Dragonfly doji bouncing off the 50, that if this opens positive, notice what it's done. It's come up through the 50, come right up to this resistance level, backed off to see if the 50 is going to act as support. If they open up positive, they're going to be taking at wave 1, wave 2, starting into wave 3. And Fleur. Now this one I'd be a little bit apprehensive about it coming back up. I would suspect this still could be drifted sideways until it kind of meets with the 50-day moving average. BCLK, nice breakout. This one you continue to own. Use the T-line as your stop. Cree, bullish engulfing. This one you can be buying on positive trading tomorrow. And SP. WR. This one you don't want to be in right now. Matter of fact, you probably want to be going short if this one opens weaker tomorrow. And EXK. EXK, all you can do right now is stay long as it stays above the T line. Whoops, got to do some more scrolling here. GMXR. Another kind of fry pan bottom setup. This one you can be buying on positive trading using the T-line as your stop. Gevo just doesn't show anything that would get me excited one way or the other. Let me see if we make this bigger, if there's anything. Still nothing here that I really want to get really hepped up over. UVXY. Am I looking at the right chart here? Okay. Whoops, that looks a little bit different than This one you want to be buying on positive trading. Just watch what it does once it gets to the 50. It's still in a downtrend until it breaks that downtrend. Let's see. CLDX. Stay long as it doesn't close below the T line. Looking like it's moving sideways, waiting for the next bounce up. SNTS. This one you stay long. Anytime you see that gap up coming out of this little rounding bottom, look for the 45 degree. But this is why we like these rounding bottoms, because you can pop it real quick. That changes some calls very quickly, especially after this indecisive trading. You don't have any real premiums build up. Then all of a sudden they pop it up. If you bought calls right in here, as you saw it curling up, now your premium as well as your intrinsic price grow very dramatically. Is the Stock Finder available from Candlestick Trading Forum, a perk with subscription? I'm not sure whether we're still connected to Stock Finder. I think we are. But it's definitely not, no, that's not part of our site. That's part of, T. Warden Brothers. What am I trying to get to? MPO. MPO, nice looking rounding bottom T-line crunch up through the 200. This one you can still be buying on positive trading. This one has, if you're long, this one has to open positive. If it opens lower, you close out the position immediately. And BTU, bah humbug. It's BTU. This one, if you're long, you stay long as it doesn't close below the T line. If you're looking to buy this, I'd rather pay somebody once it broke out through the top of today's trading range. I'd rather pay up for it, knowing it was moving in the right direction. What was that? BTU, Bank of America, still trying to break out. This one I wouldn't be afraid to be buying on a positive open tomorrow. We did SFU. That's not what we want to do. Ford, trying to hang in there. Let's see. If this one opens positive, you're going to have that little scoop type pattern set up. AEM, another rounding bottom setup. This one, if you buy, anticipate a test of the 50-day moving average. Use the T-line as your stop, but I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one if it comes back up through today's open. And HOV. Whoops, that's heating oil again. Heating oil just kind of jumps right out here, doesn't it? HOV is in this big pennant formation. I'd rather pay $6.25 knowing that it broke out through the upside. JC Penney. Well, something happened here that. Little Morningstar type signal up through the T line. This one you want to buy on positive trading. Expectation of coming back up into the trading range. HIMX, Doji, right on the T line. This is going to tell you a story. They're going to move in the direction of how they open this one tomorrow. So if it opens positive, you've got a bullish engulfing signal, a Doji, then bullish confirmation. Definitely means they're moving to the upside. UNG, this one's getting a little bit toppy up here. Not a reversal, but probably definitely ready for a pullback back to the T line. Oh, so that was UNG. All right. Goodyear. Goodyear is going to be caught in between this T-line crunch. So give it a few more days. As long as it stays above the T-line, you hang with it. But it's got to crunch itself back up through the 50. CHD needs to open positive to stay long. If it opens sideways, close out the position and put a buy stop up above it. And CBSP, that one is not coming up. CSGS. That one's got a good looking chart to it. This one you can buy in positive trading. Let's see, we've done a few of those out there. Let me just move on. We did Vokes. We did the markets. CHC. CHC needs to open positive. Yeah, just a $2 stock. Sheesh. Is that ZANG? Zenga, you should be out of. Back below the T line. And Crocs. Crocs gap down. Another one is going to tell you which way they're going to go based upon how they open it tomorrow. I would think they're going to bring it back down, though, because they hit the top of the trend channel. Now they're looking for the bottom of the trend channel before they do any more buying. Oh, we did that one. All right. Owens Corning also did a left-right combo right here on the 50 and the T-line. This one you can be buying, especially if it gets through this little mental resistance area. They're going to go higher. OC. Oh, we just did that one. OMGN. This one you can stay short as long as it doesn't close above the T line. And AGN, same scenario. That one's rolling over nicely. Suspect the first target back to the 50, but if they break the 50, you could get all the way down. It looks like a teeny little gap right there. And then there's definitely a gap down here near the 200-day moving average. Let's see. I hate to do this to everybody, but I'm going to have to call it quits here. We've got some nurse care stuff that we have to take care of upstairs. So, hate to cut it short, but anything that we missed here, I'll be glad to do it in the chat room tomorrow morning. So, with that, sorry for the cutting it off, but I'm the nurse tonight. So we'll see everybody in the chat room tomorrow.